kill Secura? I was kinda hoping to get her holo number.
Hi everyone, I'm True Soul, and welcome back to another Star Wars Black Series collection update video. Guys, it's actually been a while since we did a update video. I've been prioritizing a lot of Fortnite and Marvel and a couple other things, but now I'm back to my bread and butter. I'm back with Star Wars Black Series, and we have quite the lineup today. We have the long anticipated Star Wars Attack of the Clones Aayla Secura. We have the Star Wars Dark Forces Rising Moira Jade. Really looking forward to opening that up. We have the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Rocket Launcher Trooper, and of course we have the Star Wars Return of the Jedi 40th Anniversary Wicket. So I figured since I've been waiting for Aayla Secura the longest, we're gonna go ahead and start off with her and go ahead and open her up. So let's go ahead and get started. And here she is, ladies and gentlemen, Aayla Secura out of the packaging. Let me go ahead and stand her up real quick. Guys, I was so excited when they finally announced Aayla Secura. They also announced Kai Mundi. We are finally getting the alien Jedi that we deserve, guys. And now I finally have someone for Commander Blah to portray. I mean help, not portray, guys. Don't want to go portraying the Jedi. But yeah, guys, I really like the overall aesthetic. This is supposed to be Aayla Secura from her appearance in Attack of the Clones. I think that was like the first time we really saw her, although I know a lot of fans mostly remember from like the Clone Wars and stuff like that. Also, notice right here there is a little hole where you can stick her lightsaber in, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. There we go. Now, while I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and go over articulation. Now, for those of you who have seen some of my older videos, you guys know that I have the Star Wars Black Series, I forgot her name. I think it's Hera. Yeah, she's the only other Twi'lek that I have. And for those of you who remember me talking about that video, I was kind of talking about the little tail antenna things on her head were kind of more on the stiff side, and that's kind of the case with this Aayla Secura. You can't get any movement out of this. I would have preferred if maybe they somehow made it out of a slightly softer plastic, kind of like how they did with Jar Jar Binks's big ears, just so you can kind of move them around a little bit. And because they're so stiff, it does hinder articulation a little bit, not a whole lot, because she does have the ball joint in the torso, so that kind of helps out if you want to have her look around or whatnot. Also, as usual, really digging these deeper grooves in the elbow so you can get a little bit more arm articulation out of that, so that's always nice. Of course, has a hinge up in the arm, and as usual, guys, hold up. Now, as usual, and this is kind of one thing I kind of find a little annoying about Star Wars action figures, at least especially with like female action figures, the lower part of the torso is not a separate piece. Like, this whole piece is just one piece, so there's not a lower torso part where you can kind of get some more articulation out of that. That always bugged me a little bit. I feel like Hasbro could get a little bit more articulation out of this female figure sculpt if they did that, but not too big of a gripe. Moving on, there you got the swivel in the upper thigh, double jointed legs. Oop, lightsaber fell off. Also, the boot is a separate piece, so you can move that separately, always like that. And of course, that good old ankle pivot. And as for accessories, guys, the only accessory that Aayla Secura really comes with is her lightsaber, which that's perfectly fine because that's really the only accessory that she needs. The lightsaber handle is actually a little on the thick side. I did struggle a little bit putting it in Aayla Secura's really small hands, but it fits and it's pretty snug once you get it in there, so I wouldn't really worry too much about her dropping it or whatnot. But all in all, guys, really glad that I finally got this figure to add more Jedi to my prequel shelf. But you guys know that there's plenty more alien Jedi that we need, guys. We still need Luminara, guys. We still need Shakti. Like, I could go on, but I'm not going to. Really glad that I finally got this Jedi to add in my prequel shelf. And now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next figure. And we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Star Wars Black Series Jedi Fallen Order Rocket Launcher Trooper. So I'm gonna go ahead and open him up and see how he looks. And here he is, guys, the Rocket Trooper. Really dig this figure too, even though it's pretty much just like the new sculpt for the Stormtroopers, which I actually like. So I'm really glad that they're starting to use that build moving forward. I will say though, this Stormtrooper having like the pauldron on one side, for some reason makes the other side look like really gappy. Like, you see that gap right there? A lot of the other Stormtrooper figures that I have, I feel like that gap's not as noticeable, but for some reason it's like really noticeable on this one. And you can even kind of see more into the black like spandex part of the Stormtrooper. But that's not really much of a gripe, it's just something I noticed. Now if I can stand him up, that would be really great. Alright guys, so the primary reason that I got this rocket launcher trooper is of course for this giant rocket launcher, guys. Look at this thing, it's so huge. I was not expecting it to be this big. But now comes the moment of truth, guys. We have to actually put it in the Stormtrooper's hand and see if it fits the way it does on the picture. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Alright guys, so I'm not sure if I'm just not doing it right, but I'm pretty sure you're supposed to put his hand through like this little hole right here, but this piece at the back here is like really hindering that. So it does look a little awkward, but I'm gonna try to get this other hand to hold this trigger right here, because as you can see on this digital image, which I'm pretty sure this is a digital image, that's how he's holding it. So I'm really trying to get him to hold it the way that the picture is. I'm struggling a little bit. I'll let you guys know when I got it done. So yeah guys, this is about as good as I can get it in. It's not too bad, but I feel like sometimes with these figures, the concept is a little bit better than the actual execution. It does feel like this one trigger hand's going to like give out, because again there's this piece in the back that's like in the way. If any of you guys have this figure and know how to more properly display the rocket launcher in his hand, then please let me know. But overall, I'm just happy to have another kind of more different Stormtrooper for the collection. You know, I am kind of slowly army building Stormtroopers, but on one hand I don't want to have just a bunch of like basic Stormtroopers. I want to have like some kind of more different, unique ones. This Stormtrooper is probably going to go on my original trilogy shelf, one of my original trilogy shelves. I'll figure out which one. And as you guys are also noticing, I am struggling a little bit to keep this guy up now that I have the bazooka in his hand. So that's gonna be fun to deal with, but there we go, I got it. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next figure, which is Moira Jade. For those of you who don't know, Moira Jade is from the Star Wars Legends universe. Pretty cool character. So we're gonna go ahead and open her up. I was going to read the little description thing, but they don't seem to have one. Open her up here. Oh, they do, guys. In fact, instead of reading all that, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in and let you guys look at that real quick. Feel free to pause or whatever. And let's go ahead and open her up. I really hope that the figure looks as good as this image right here. Fingers crossed, guys. Alright guys, here is Moira Jade out of the packaging, and actually she doesn't look too bad. I do remember, guys, like back in the day when they had the like Legends books and stuff, they actually had got like an actress, or I'm not sure exactly, to like they based like Mora Jade's like likeness after her. So whenever you like got a book and had Mora Jade on the cover, like it looked like her. I'm not sure if this is it. If you guys can fact check that for me, that would be really great. But, and I'm kind of dealing with this right now, guys. One thing that I don't like, dealing with these stiff ankles. Whenever I take out some of these figures, their ankles are like bended downwards, so I have to work them up, and I'm always worried about breaking it because it feels so stiff. I feel like if I keep pulling that I'm gonna break it, but sometimes you just gotta be a little rough. And there we go, I straighten out a little bit. Now there's already a couple of things about this figure that I'm really liking. Now I didn't really read a whole lot of the Legends stuff. I just like kind of like the idea, like the concept of like Mora Jade. I think she used to like work for Palpatine, and she like tried to kill Luke, and then she ended up marrying Luke, and then she ended up getting killed by I can't remember who killed her. Look it up yourself, you'll see. But one thing that I'm liking about this figure right off the back is there's certain articulation things going on. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. As you guys can see, even though this hair sculpt looks really great, it does hinder articulation. But I feel like these torso joints kind of make up for that. Now she has a ball joint in the upper torso, but she also has an ab crunch, guys. Look at that. You can break Mora Jade's back, guys. That is crazy. I actually don't think I have a Star Wars female figure that can do this. It would be really cool if they kind of kept doing this moving forward. And since Mora Jade's design, at least for this version of Mora Jade, is pretty simplistic, it doesn't really break up the sculpt all that much. So really looking forward to seeing what kind of weird poses people can get her in. Of course, he has the single joint bend, which is pretty good. Has hinge in the wrist as well as in the arms, hinge in the upper torso, and also the ball in the legs actually pretty good too. You can actually sit it all the way down, unlike Padme. Sorry, Padme. Really need to re-release that figure. Anyway, double jointed legs, also really good. And of course, that stubborn but still lovable ankle pivot. Now guys, Mora Jade actually comes with two accessories. She comes with a blaster as well as a purple lightsaber. She has a little holster on the side where you can hang the lightsaber on. So that's also really nice. Sometimes it can get a little like flimsy, so I usually like to put the lightsaber in their hand, just because sometimes if you like move that around too fast or whatever, it'll literally fall out. So probably gonna display Mora Jade with the lightsaber, and there we go. Really nice figure. Always like having Jedi, Sith, the lightsaber wielding people. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get to our last, but certainly not least, and that is good old Wicket. I've actually been waiting for them to make a Wicket for a while, and now we finally got one. Wicket was actually one of my favorite, for those of you who played like Lego Star Wars back in the day, Wicket was one of my favorite little Lego characters to play with. So let's go ahead and open them up. And here he is, guys, little Wicket. I like that it looks like he is a little bit smaller than the other Ewoks that they made. I think I have that other Ewok, I can't remember his name, Tebu or whatever. I think he was like one of like the Ewok leaders. He's actually a little bit taller than Wicket, but one thing, ooh, it looks like this hood is like a separate piece. You can take this off if you want, but I'm actually scared to see what he looks like without it on, so I'm gonna leave that on. Really nice little figure, and he has some pretty okay articulation. He has, looks like he has a ball joint in the torso, so you can get some pretty good articulation in that. And he also has some articulation in the head, however that is hindered by his little robe thingy that he's wearing. He has a single joint in the arm that seems a little stiff to bend, but you can bend it right there. Also has, I think, is a swivel in the wrist. I can't tell if he can, doesn't feel like he can move that any more than that. Oh, look at that. Also can sit down quite well. And even Wicket has some ankle pivots, so that's always good. Now, let's get into a couple of his accessories. Alright, Wicket appears to come with a couple of what looks like some miscellaneous clubs. He also comes with a spear and a bow. In fact, with the way this hole is in here, I don't know if you guys can see it, it looks like you should be able to put something in here. I'm trying to, but none of the things that he comes with actually fit, so that is a little bit of a bummer. But it looks like they fit pretty well in his hands. I'm gonna go ahead and also put the spear in his hands because I think that's what he had in the movie. There we go, Wicket. I've actually been really looking forward to getting some Ewoks to put on my for those of you who know, I have a Empire Strikes Back / Return of the Jedi shelf. Only because I have so many figures, I couldn't give each movie its own shelf. So, but I'm really looking forward to putting these guys on the shelf. In fact, let's go ahead and do that right now. Alright guys, I put my new figures on the shelf. As you can see here, we got Aayla Secura. She really pops out, guys, since she's like literally the only like blue person on my shelf. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I did have a hard time making her just stand up. It's like her legs want to buckle for some reason, but I managed to get her up. Got her with Commander Bly. Really cool looking figure, and I cannot wait for Kai Mundi to be released so I can get him, put him up here so you can talk about the droid attack on the Wookiees. Just good stuff, guys. Let's move on over to my New Hope / Rebels shelf. Got the rocket launcher trooper here with some of his other clones, so that's really nice. And my last two figures I got all the way down here with my Empire / Return of the Jedi shelf. Got Moira Jade here and Wicket. He is so small. He's about as small as Yoda. I think Yoda's still a little bit smaller, but yeah, I really like how they do the Ewoks. I'm really looking forward to them potentially making more, guys. Alright guys, that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for this Star Wars Black Series update. Let me know down below if you have any of these figures and which ones are your favorite. And also, be sure to follow me on my Instagram, as you'll see exclusive photos like of my figures here that you may not see in my videos. Alright guys, until next time, be sure to like, subscribe, and go to my channel to check out other videos. Catch you later.